Welcome to Popes and Pylons. As you mostly all know, I would think, there's a new expansion coming out for Europa Universalis IV called Dharma, focusing on the Indian subcontinent mostly. And what I do here on this channel, at least a lot of what I do here on this channel, is play Europa Universalis on screen, of course, going for specific achievements. And of course, there's going to be a list of achievements coming with Dharma. And I thought I'd make a brief video on that, what these achievements are, discuss them a little bit, and then maybe get your input on what I should do for my first Dharma campaign. I've already posted a long video, it's like 40 minutes, on the features of Dharma, so if you want to watch that, I'll put the link somewhere up here or something. But today, the focus is going to be simply on the achievements, and the question of which achievement do you guys want me to do first when I finally get to play Dharma, which I will not for a while, unfortunately. So let's just dive right in there. It's 20 achievements, so a bit to go through. As usual, the achievements are split into I split them into two categories. One category is sort of showing off specific features of Dharma, specific new features, and the other is achievements that sort of give you goals for your gameplay. And these are, of course, the achievements most interesting to me and my channel. Now, let's just go here. Start with the Populists in Government achievement. Switch government type through government reforms. I mean, this is clearly a achievement showing off what Dharma can do. Not only do we now have reforms in government, but once you've completed all the reforms for your government, you can then switch to a new government type, and this simply rewards you for doing that. Not super interesting as a goal for a campaign, but certainly something that you can pick up while playing Dharma. And then here's the first example, I think, of us seeing the many puns that are in these achievements. And just be warned, we have Genghis Khan. We start as a tribal nation in India and have to become a steppe horde. I think, and I may be wrong on how this works, but I think this is very similar to that previous achievement. There may be few additional requirements to swapping from a tribal nation to a steppe horde. I don't quite know how that works. We'll see how that works when Dharma is out. But I think this is mostly a relatively easy achievement where you have to start as a tribal nation in India, obviously, and then complete your government reforms and swap to a new government and make that a steppe horde. I have no idea if there is any requirements of choosing that specific government type, though, so that may be a thing that you have to do. Maybe you have to conquer some land over in, the steppes. Maybe you have to accept a culture there, or even become, have that be your major culture, move your capital there, I don't know. We'll see, but this doesn't seem super hard. At worst, it requires you to start in India and sort of conquer your way around, or through Ming, if you want to do that, into steppe horde territory, and then form your government there. Fine Financial shows off another, of the new features in Dharma. The level 3 centers of trade, or levels of centers of trade at all. You can level your centers of trade now. They start at 1 usually, and you can put money in there to make them level 3s. You can never have more level 3 centers of trade than you have merchants. So this does not only require you to have 8 centers of trade that you've leveled up, put a lot of money in, but also requires you to have 8 merchants, and that's a lot. That requires trade ideas or a lot of colonial nations. Colonial nations you can obviously relatively easily go to 8 if you have enough colonial nations, or trade companies. Definitely requires a big focus on trade or colonial work, or probably both of that. Still not super hard. If you build a big colonial empire, this is going to be a given, assuming you put enough money into your sense of trade. Then we have Sweet Home Karakorum. I do like the art on here. Showing off another feature. The Mughals now assimilate cultures, so they automatically accept cultures once you own all the land of their culture. And this is simply place the Mughals and take all land of Mongolian culture, and then that's going to be assimilated, and then you get your achievement. So once again, start in India, form the Mughals, and then go around to Mongolia and conquer that piece of land. Once again, this can be probably very easily combined with Genghis Khan here. Start as any tribal nation, you form the Mughals and do both of these achievements. I assume that works. This one I do love both the art and the title, Mivar never changes. Mewar, yes. Just simply complete the Mewar mission tree. I will never be able to say Mewar anymore. I will just be Mewar from now on. Anyway, complete the mission tree from Mewar. We don't know. At least I couldn't find that mission tree yet, so I have no idea what that entails. There could be something really hard in there. But generally the mission trees are not insanely hard. So this is probably like the Rule Britannia one, where you have to conclude all the British missions. This is one for India. And I can't say anything about the difficulty of this one before I see that tree itself. Now, this is a weird one. The Pheasant Strut. As Gorkha form Nepal and defeat Prussia with at least 100,000 casualties on the Prussian side. And both have to be primary targets of the war. So, okay. Start as a small nation in India, form Nepal, work your way over to northern Germany, and then hope that Prussia is there. And then have them have infinite amounts of manpower, or at least high manpower, and fight them a lot to get this achievement. Okay, I mean, getting into a war, if this said Ottomans, sure, easy. They have a lot of troops, they're there, you can go there and fight them. That makes sense. Prussia, many times doesn't even exist in your campaigns. And if it does, maybe it's small, maybe it doesn't have a lot of troops. What do you do then? So I think either you get lucky for this one, or you actually have to go, work your way as Gorkha, as Nepal, over to Germany, and then help, like the Teutons, for example, to form Prussia, before then turning on them and defeating them. Ally them, help them in their wars, give them land that's required for forming Prussia maybe, and then go in and kill them. Doable, sure. Gamey, yeah, very gamey, and really weird. Sure. Feel like this was mostly introduced because they like the name and the art, and the rest, sure. Cotton candy, yes. Candy become production leader of cotton. I mean, if you have a country named Candy, then this is sort of an easy way to go. And sure. I don't think there's a lot of cotton in India, but I may be wrong. I'm not quite sure about the spread of that trade good. But this doesn't seem super difficult. Just find out where the cotton is, conquer a lot of that, and then be done. I mean, sure, you have to survive and grow as candy at the start, which might not be the easiest thing to do. Another big pun here, forgive me for I've sinned, become Christian as sinned. This is, sure, there are multiple ways to become Christian if you are of any other faith. Any other faith? I think so. At least you can always do rebel conversion. So one of the ways you can do this almost for sure is to conquer some Christian territories, let the rebels rise, and then let them take over your country and accept Christian. There may be other ways to switch to Christian if you're sinned. I don't know. Never say never, not in India, or never say never, because as never, which is a very small, are they even on the map? I think they're on the map in 1444, but I'm not quite sure. They're not usually on the map for very long. Maybe they're releasable. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, small thing down in the south of France. You have to own the entire France region as core provinces. So if you're looking for some new gameplay in Europe, maybe Never Say Never is interesting there. I mean, France is always a tough enemy to fight, especially if you start as a very small country in their reach. Pirate Bay of Janjira. No idea if this is a thing I'm supposed to know. I don't know what a Janjira is, but probably something you should know, or I should know. Have more than 50% privateering power on the Gujarat node. I think this is probably a historical thing, that there were a lot of pirates in that area. And so all you need to do is grow a bit so you have a lot of naval force limit, and then just put a ton of light ships privateering in that Gujarat node. Sure. Now, be prepared for the most meta of all puns, at least here. We have the Sikh pun, where we have to change religion to Sikh as Punjab. That, sure, that's probably put in by Groogy. He loves changing to Sikh. Sure, you play as Punjab, you grab Sikh land, you do the conversion, you do the usual thing. At least I assume that's how that's going to work. Ostindie Compagnie, I do not speak Danish. That was probably completely wrong. It sounded a bit Indian, maybe even. Anyway, so we have this East Indian tea company from Denmark. So as Denmark established a trade company and have at least 10% tea market share. Trade companies, we can now buy land from Indian countries, so we don't necessarily need to conquer land in India first. You can just buy some land there and establish that trade company, and then focus on getting some tea. You don't even need to conquer a lot of tea land here, I don't think, because you need the market share, which is just having a lot of trade power in tea trading nodes, I believe. So if you have a large fleet, a large trading fleet, you can probably just buy one province, hopefully like center of trade, and send your boats there and grab that tea market share. Sure. True heir of Timur, starting as a Timurid subject, form the Mughals and conquer India by 1550. Now this one, I think is a bit more challenging. It's a timed achievement, which is always interesting to me. And that's a lot of conquering you have to do in 106 years. I mean, sure, you start as a Timurid subject. Timurid subjects tend to have a very easy time breaking free, especially if the Timurid ruler dies early. But even if not, the Timurid subjects are very powerful and only held down by that strong ruler if they are AI. But if you're a player, I'm sure you're going to find a way to get out of there. So that's not the big thing. Then you can eat most of Timmy probably, and the other Timurid subjects form the Mughals. But then you have to conquer all of India by 1550, and that's, yeah, I mean, that's probably going to be another case of having to mostly ignore all aggressive expansion, keep on attacking people who try to coalition you, while you just waltz your way through India. Just increasing autonomy everywhere to 100%, it's fine. Just go through it, eat it all up. Hope it doesn't rebel on you, and don't care about what happens after 50-50. Take your loans, debase your currency, whatever you do. As long as you're done and happy by 1550, it's all good. If your country breaks apart in 1551, or, you know, after you've conquered all of India, the day after you conquered all of India, it's all fine. You get that achievement anyway. But I still think this could be rough, but also interesting. Eat your greens. Control all grasslands in Asia is Kale before the age of absolutism. Now Kale is, I think, one province minor. Maybe they have two provinces, but I think they're one province down in Southeast Asia. Somewhere, yeah, right to the east of India. I assume that's already Southeast Asia. Anyway, in those mountains next to Tibet, that's where Kale is. Control all grasslands is Kale before the age of absolutism. Now it's another timed achievement, but a much longer one. So we have much more time to do this, but it's also a lot of work to do. Because all grasslands in Asia definitely includes land north of Ming, and might even include land in Ming. So yeah, you're gonna have to do a lot of fighting, and you're not a horde. So what I learned playing the Great Khan, which they run is on my channel right now, or is running in my channel right now, is that it's really easy to break Ming apart if you're a big horde, because they get a giant negative modifier to mandate once they have a over 300 development horde on their borders that does not pay tribute to them. But you're Kale, you're not a horde. Unless you switch to being a horde, maybe, you're not gonna easily break Ming's mandate. So this could be rough. And I think you don't border Ming directly. I'm pretty sure you don't, which makes it now with the new changes not possible to just become their tributary, which makes expansion a lot harder in that area as well. So this is going to be, I think, one of the harder achievements of this campaign, of this expansion, and I'll be very interested in seeing how people do that. Then again, I like that the timer is not super strict. So you're on the timer, but not insanely so. But you can't use absolutism, obviously, for your big expansion, because if that age of absolutism hits, then you've lost already. Let's go on. Coin is stronger than the sword. Charter. There's some text missing here, right? Buy a charter company from an Indian nation? Maybe even charter a company from an Indian nation, but not charter company. Anyway, so the thing is, we have to, that's the thing I talked about before, buy land from an Indian nation for trade. So just do it. That's another one that just shows off a feature, can easily be combined with these others. Maharana Pratap, again, no idea if that's a reference to anything. Start as Mewar and field an army of 20 Rajput regiments. Again, just showing off a specific feature of that. So the religion, the government form, anyway, hiring these Rajput regiments is a new thing. Tiger of Mysore, starting as Mysore, conquer all the Deccan and Coromandel regions. So small country, southern India, and you have to eat essentially Vijayanagar, I guess, and some other people around it. It's just have a very hard start and then conquer a bunch out of bigger neighbors. Foul Mouth, this is showing off another feature. It's the feature of Scornful Insults. Border at least 10 nations and scornfully insult all of them. It's a fun achievement. It's not particularly difficult. All you really have to do is border 10 nations, and that is not too hard. I don't know, there's probably a start that you can just load up somebody that already has 10 neighbors. Just do it, if that would be your goal. But this is, yeah, it's just a fun achievement. Emperor of Hindustan, starting as Delhi, reconquer their empire at their height. Now, I have not looked up how big that is, but it seems quite possible. You know what? Let me just check this, and then I'll be back in a second. All right, I briefly checked Wikipedia, and it seems that it's essentially conquer all of India as Delhi, more or less. We'll see what exact regions they want us to do here once the expansion is actually out, but this is essentially conquer India. So, but you have to start as Delhi, so you cannot combine this with the true heir of Timur, because then you can't start as Delhi. But the goal is very similar, except for this one being also timed. So this is probably one of the easier blobbing achievements in India, but if you want to have a nice time trying out India with a specific goal, but still expanding a lot, then this could be quite interesting. And then finally, we have the Ostenders, as Austria have a fully built up Indian company in the West Bengal area. So this is another historic thing. There was actually an Austrian trade company down there for not that many years, but there was one. And what we have to do is, build up a trade company fully. I assume that means build all the upgrades that I've talked about in the other video that you can now do by investing in trade companies for your company. So you buy some land or conquer it, spend a lot of money and build it up, and then you're done. Of course, you have to get there as Austria, have all the money as Austria. So I'm not saying that's trivial or anything, but the actual achievement does not seem to entail too much work. And that's it. Quite a few of those achievements that I said that just show off the new features. Quite a few ones that include essentially conquer India, do stuff in India, some that are in there probably just for the puns, and then some that might be quite hard, especially I think eat your greens can be very difficult. All right, that's all the new achievements. I would really like, especially if you watch off my channel, if you're not a regular watcher of my channel, hey, why aren't you? Check that out. I do a lot of Let's Plays of EU4, and you might be interested in that. Anyway, I will start a new Let's Play for Dharma as soon as I come back from my holidays, which is unfortunately about 2 weeks after the start of Dharma, because 2 weeks of holidays, and for some reason Paradox has to release the expansion the day before I go on holidays. Anyway, so once I start that, I really want to start one of these achievements. I would like you to tell me in the comments what you would like me to do here. And if you have an idea what can be combined with one of these achievements, then I'll also be very interested. So maybe there's an old achievement down there in India that could be combined with one of these. Probably not with Never Say Never, but maybe something else. So tell me what you find interesting, what catches your eye, and I'll then use all that information to decide on what we're going to do in September, when I can finally play some Dharma. Until then, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you're seeing, well, hit that like button on this video. Try out the subscribe button if you want to see more of my content, and I have a comment section not only for telling me about choices of achievements, although that is definitely one of the good uses for that, but also for telling me anything else you want to tell me. Why did you like this? What would you like me to do in the future? Anything, just put it down there. Thank you guys for watching and see you guys next time.